There it is. What's up? See? All right. So, again, if you don't know me, my name is James Ellers. I am actually running for Congress in the 8th Congressional District. Let me edit this. All right. So, again, if you don't know today is December 30th, 2019. And what we are going to be looking over is for every presidential debate, the DNC, Democratic National Committee, releases qualifications that the candidates have to meet to be able to go into the next debate. So for the December debate, I think it was they needed 4 polls at 4% or higher in the early states. And Andrew Yang met that. Now, they set the parameters for the January debate. I think they need 4 polls at 5% or higher in the early states. Now, seems completely fine, right? The issue is that since the last debate, since the December debate, the DNC hasn't released any new polls. Like, polls are usually released like every week or two, and they're done by different organizations. So for people that have been paying attention, it's pretty obvious, like, why aren't they releasing any polls? Like, it makes no sense that none of the polls are being released. So a few things have happened today that I'm going to try to find. A lot of it's happening on Twitter. If you are following politics at all and you're not on Twitter, like, I highly recommend it. So let's see. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter for you. All right. So let's go to Andrew Yang, because he started this discussion and it's completely valid. So again, the qualifications say, hey, you have to get a certain amount of polls at 5% to make the January debate. And if they're not releasing any polls, it's kind of a problem. So if we... Cory Booker's talking about it now too. Good. Oh, he retweeted me. Great. Thank you, Andrew. I love you. Let's see. So here's the main one right here. So it has been 47 days since a qualifying poll in Iowa, New Hampshire, or Nevada was taken. As you know, big shifts can happen in short periods within this race, as we've already witnessed multiple times. Let's ask the people at DNC. We need the DNC to poll the people. Between now and January 10th, the DNC should commission 4 early state qualifying polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, where all the candidates have invested their time, resources, and staff. Yeah, so this is the main issue right now. So they're not releasing any more polls. Now I'm going to try to find... So let's go to... So now Cory Booker's talking about it. Cory Booker is another good candidate that has been affected by this. And it's very troubling how they're obviously trying to influence this election like they did in 2016. It's crazy. So right now, this conversation when Andrew Yang started trending hashtag poll the people. It is actually trending #1 on Twitter right now. It's crazy. Out of everything, all the billions of people on Twitter, like, this is trending #1. Zach is talking about it. Tom Perez is the DNC chairman. We're tweeting at him, trying to see what's going on. So I think the Zach and Matt show talked about it. Okay, here we go. So the DNC actually sent a response. So the DNC has been more than inclusive throughout this entire process, with an expansive list of qualifying polls, including 26 polls for the December debate, more than half of which were, I'm sure they mean early state polls. The DNC will not sponsor its own debate qualifying polls of presidential candidates during a primary. This would break the longstanding practice of both parties using independent polling for the debate qualification. and would be inappropriate use of DNC resources that should be directed at beating Donald Trump. So they are basically saying they're not doing any more polls. In response to this, again, I've been following this for hours, so I'm trying to catch you up to try to see what else, I could show you that I've read. So basically, after they said that, Andrew Yang's staff basically said, hey, we have offered, we will offer to pay for the polls, if that's really an issue, which, again, it's not an issue. That's such a surface level thing. It's not an issue. So where we are now is that we have a debate coming up in January. To qualify for the debate, you need 4 polls at 5% or higher. And the DNC is not releasing any more polls. So you can see the Yang gang's kind of riled up, rightly so. If you're watching this or you listen to it and you're not on Twitter, making some noise, please do. Because it's a serious thing. They have not released, there's not been any polls released since the last debate. Something I tweeted, I was trying to put this in an analogy that makes some kind of sense. So if the DNC ran the NFL, they'd be this is what they'd say. Okay, we're excited about the upcoming Super Bowl, but we've had playoff games in the past. We've had plenty of playoff games. And so for this Super Bowl, we're just going to use the past playoff results. We're going to use the results from, last year's Super Bowl to decide who's in the Super Bowl. Playoffs are just too expensive. That's basically what they're doing. They're basically saying, hey, we're just going to use the results of the last debate, even though, things are probably different this time going around, but it's expensive and we don't want to. That's basically what they're saying, which is crazy. So we need to figure out how to get more polls released, because there's obviously more polls being run. I mean, it's a presidential election. There's organizations running polls all the time for, I don't know why they're not being released, but we need to get them released. So this is where we are. I have to go to work pretty soon, so I'm going to start live streaming a lot more. Sorry about this stream kind of bouncing around. It's my first time using StreamYard, so I think the first 10 seconds is a blank screen of me just talking. I'm sorry about that. I will get better, I promise. But yeah, this is a big deal. I don't mean to just have it floating on my profile. Let's go back to Yang. So again, I'm a huge Yang supporter. I've been following him since early in the summer. I guess it's this summer. And he's actually one of the main reasons I'm even running for Congress. My whole thing with running for Congress is I was following Andrew Yang, following his policies, how detailed he is about everything, how much empathy he has for people, that his focus is on people and not just these certain talking points that politicians just spout off he's an actual real person. So he's the whole reason I'm even running for Congress, just because a lot of the issues he saw in the presidential race I see in the congressional race here. So it's a lot of the same things he's running into, I'm running into in the congressional race too, where you have candidates that are openly accepting money from corporations and special interests, and that somehow gives them a lead, gives them, a favor in the race. And that's something we need to move away from. This isn't any way to be running campaigns. This isn't any way to be deciding leaders of our country. It's crazy. So at this point, we have you have Tulsi is another candidate that's kind of been shunned. Cory Booker, it would kind of crazy because he's a really mainstream guy. Julian Castro, another one. And it's very blatant. So it's, hopefully we make enough noise right now. So again, this is Andrew Yang's his Twitter. So he's making some noise. So that's I was wondering why this tweet of mine got so many likes, but he retweeted it, so that's why I was confused. Then you also have Tom Steyer. Same. I mean, Tom Steyer's he's a billionaire. That's kind of how he got to where he is, but he's still trying to make noise too. So Andrew retweeted my wife. Awesome. So that's where we are right now. So right now we need to Yang Gang's super creative. Like it's super creative, super resourceful. So right now the goal is to obviously Iowa. We have a Yang week coming up, so Iowa's going to be a huge thing. Don't want to take anything away from that. If you're not able to go to Iowa, participate in Yang week, we need those of us that aren't able to go. We need to focus on this. Trying to get a hold of DNC, trying to get them to run more polls, just trying to just get more candidates into the January debate. So I think right now for the January debate, I think they have Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, and what's the guy I don't like? Mayor Pete, wine cave guy. So there's only 5 in that one. And they're just going off the qualification, like the polls that they ran for the December debate. There's no new polls. So obviously the issue is the big obvious thing is like they've gotten polls in, and for whatever reason they're not releasing the information. That's the big deal. Like they have polls. Their whole thing is to run polls and run debates and these things. That's all they do. So for them not to be releasing polls, like they have polls coming in. So what is it on those polls that they're either trying to change or they're just trying to hide? Like those are the two things. Like either they're holding off on releasing the polls because they're trying to change something, or they're trying to just outright hide it, which is crazy. So yeah, we need to do something. So I'm going to wrap up pretty quick here. I need to run to work, but I will get better I'll start streaming more. Thank you for the 5 people watching. I will start streaming more. I will get better at it, and I will do it more frequently, especially as we get closer and closer to the elections. We need more people talking. So thank you for joining me. I will get better. I will work on it. I'll do it more. Any suggestions are more than accepted. And yeah, thanks for talking to you guys. I'll talk to you soon.